As a nonprofit executive, it is important that you have a clear understanding of what is going on in your organization at all times. So today we're going to be talking about 5 reports that you need to be reviewing regularly to help you manage and run your organization. So if this is of interest to you, keep watching and let's get started. So the first report that you're going to be looking at is your monthly financial package, right? So this consists of your organization's financial snapshot, right? So these are key metrics, key reports. Typically, this monthly financial package is going to consist of your statement of activities, right? You want to see what income and expenses have moved throughout the organization. Your balance sheet, right? You want to know where your assets and liabilities lie, what's restricted, what's not, right? Your budget to actuals. Are you on track, right? Are there any potential issues that we see down the road? And sometimes it's not issues. You might see something down the road that shows you're going to have a surplus, right? You might be getting some unexpected funds, right? So you want to keep an eye on those things because you may want to then shift the narrative or the strategy for your organization based off of something that you see in these reports. It also will consist of your statement of functional expenses. Now, I know some organizations review this annually. I am a proponent of viewing this monthly so that you know where you stand on a more consistent basis in the event that you need to make adjustments or change anything. And lastly, cash flow projections, right? So you want to be able to see where your cash is and if there are any holes or any gaps that need to be plugged. So just as a recap, that first report is going to be that monthly financial package. And if you are not getting this from your accounting function on a monthly, at the very least, a monthly basis, that's something that needs to be implemented ASAP. Now, I will say here at Visionary, there are certain reports that we'll send weekly just due to the nature of the organization or if there's a large volume of transactions, things moving, and we need to keep a pulse on things a little bit more. There are some weekly reports, but at the very least, you should be getting a monthly financial report that gives you a snapshot of the organization's financial picture. The second report that you want to review is your donor engagement report. Maintaining good relationships with your donors are going to be crucial for your organization's sustainability, right? So you want to be reviewing your donor contributions, the retention rate, and their engagement levels. By reviewing this report, this tells you, is there anything that you need to be doing, changing, adjusting to make sure that you keep your donors engaged and you keep them coming back and contributing to the organization. Also, by reviewing this data, you can tailor any kind of outreach strategies, campaigns, or any kind of adjustments or improvements you want to make specifically because you're looking at what the data tells you and how engaged your donors are. And we say donor engagement report, and I know the way that I'm describing it kind of lends itself to individual donors, but don't forget your funders or your grantors, anyone that is giving you money. You want to make sure that you are looking at that engagement report to make sure that you are keeping that relationship, that door open, being transparent, authentic, and sharing information with them as needed. So the third report you want to be looking at is the program impact report. Now, as a nonprofit, you exist, right, to make a difference in your community or for special causes, right? You might have taken up a special cause. There's a certain mission that you're going after. And so you want to know how the programs or the initiatives that you're running at your organization are actually supporting your organization's mission. Now, by looking at the program impact report, you're collecting outcomes, right? You're looking at program feedback. There's data there that tells you what is actually happening. Are people participating? Are people getting their desired results? And then on a financial side, right, because looking at the program impact report is not just about those non-financial factors. You also want to look at financial factors, right? How much is it costing you to run this program? What are the expenses that are associated with running these programs? Are these expenses covered, right? So you're thinking in terms of the funding that you've been receiving, any donations, grants, government contracts, however you are funded. Are these programs that you're running covered by these? Is a lot of this funding coming out of like general funding? You want to think about that because that also helps you to strategize for the future. Lastly, by reviewing the program impact report, you are able to adjust strategies, reallocate resources, and also see what stands out that you can communicate to the proper stakeholders. So a lot of times when you're receiving funding, right, the board wants to know like, what was the outcome of this? Or when you're going back to funders, you want to tell them like, you gave us this $100,000 and this is what we were able to do with that. But you won't know that, right, if you aren't getting that data and having those discussions. So you want to make sure that you're also reviewing that program impact report. Now, this fourth report is going to be specific to the type of organization you are running, and it's the volunteer participation report. Now, there are some organizations that don't use volunteers. So if that's the case, naturally, this report is not going to be applicable to you. But for those of you that do, you definitely want to be looking at this type of report so that you can know if there are some changes that you need to make to your volunteering strategy. So when you're looking at the volunteer participation report, you're looking at, the number of volunteers, the number of hours worked, right? The type of tasks that they've worked on. You're looking at feedback. There are a lot of times where sometimes, your volunteers might be feeling like they're doing a lot of work or they're unappreciated, right? So you want to make sure that you always are tapped in and keeping a pulse on that, because for a lot of organizations, volunteers are the backbone, right? These people care about the cause. They want to help support the mission and they want to help move things forward. So you need to know how it is they're feeling, what it is they're doing. Is it actually helping the organization? Does something need to be adjusted? And you can only do that by collecting the data. Now, the last report is going to be the marketing and outreach effectiveness report. Now, I know you might be thinking marketing. I find that sometimes when I talk to nonprofit executives, they think that marketing is like a small business thing, but even though you don't operate a business per se, you have to be business minded to run a nonprofit and to run it well. And you have to want to get that organization in front of the right people, right? In front of the right supporters. You have to present it in the best light where you're talking about your mission, your causes, the work that you're doing in the community so that people want to support. And when you're putting forth these initiatives, you need to know how well are they doing. Now, with this report, you're able to evaluate, right, how marketing campaigns are doing, website traffic, social media engagement. Is any of this leading to, an increase in donations, an increase to awareness about the organization, and if you need to make any changes, right? Now, when you think about these 5 reports, I'm sure your mind is churning like, there are different people, right, that are involved in these different areas of the organization. So when you're thinking about whether or not you even have access to these reports, the important or first thing that you want to do is bring your department heads together. Determine who should be responsible for what. And then there needs to be a consistent cadence that you guys are meeting, that these reports are being presented to you, and that you're having these discussions so that you can continue to run your organization well. Now, I hope that this was helpful. Remember, these are 5 reports that you need to be reviewing on a consistent basis, and let's run through them again really quickly before we wrap up. So those 5 reports that you need to be looking at is your financial management package, right? That monthly financial reporting package, your program impact report. You're going to want to look at your volunteer participation data, marketing and outreach effectiveness, and then lastly, your donor engagement report. Now, I think I might have said that out of order, but you get the picture. Those are the 5 reports at the very least that you want to be looking at consistently. And if there's anything that you want me to dive in deeper to in regards to those reports, then just leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.